I'm so glad you asked, my dear. Gilbert Burns is a UFC fighter who recently retired and is very worthy of praise for his accomplishments in the MMA and grappling worlds. He comes from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where he started training jiu-jitsu at a young age, eventually competing as a black belt in the IBJJF European Open, where he got third place. He then would go on to get first place in the Brazilian Nationals, Abu Dhabi World Pro, in the IBJJF World Championships No Gi and Gi. In 2012, he finally made his pro MMA debut, getting a submission by rear naked choke. He would go on to obtain a 7-0 record before making his UFC debut in 2014 at UFC Fox 12, where he secured the win by unanimous decision in the lightweight division. After 3 straight wins to start his UFC career, he suffered his first loss at the hands of one Rashid Magomedov via unanimous decision in 2015. At this point, he was still developing his stand-up game, and he would not do well against more experienced strikers when he couldn't get the fight to the ground, as he lost the decision after getting knocked down multiple times. During this time, Burns' body was also getting bigger and the weight cuts were getting hotter to 155 pounds. Between 2016 and 2018, he won 3 more fights but lost 2 more. He suffered his last loss at lightweight to Dang the Hangman Hooker via TKO, again in a fight where he had a decent striker in front of him who was able to avoid the danger on the ground. Although he had some good tools on the feet at this point, even landing a spinning back kick of his own before being defeated by an exchange of hooks between the two fighters. Following this loss, he picked up 2 more wins at lightweight before moving up to welterweight against an undefeated prospect. The undefeated prospect was Alexei Kuchenko, who had a pretty decent hype behind him. Gilbert Burns would rack up 6 straight wins in total against good competition, more notably fellow grappler Demian Maia and former champ Tyron Woodley. Burns was one of those fighters who was a little bit too big to be a lightweight, but a little bit too undersized to be a welterweight. Call him a tweener. But look at the size of that neck on him when he defeated Demian Maia. That boy was getting pretty thick at this point. After all these consecutive wins, he got ranked as a #1 contender by the time he faced the champ Kamaru Usman for the welterweight belt. The fight happened on February of 2021. There was no crowd because the pandemic was still going on. But down in Florida, we've been out and about for a while at this point. I remember like if it was yesterday. I had not met your mother yet, and we were having a few beers with my friends at Twin Peaks. Maybe we will have one someday. The two fighters had a mix of emotions going into the fight because they trained together at some point. Gilbert tried to touch gloves at the beginning of the fight, but Kamaru Usman did not oblige. Gilbert Burns started the fight on fire, caught Usman with some good punches, enough to wobble him. In the second round, Usman started doing better, landing hard jabs on Gilbert, eventually dropping him on the second round, and finally on the third round with a jab from a southpaw stance. Gilbert admitted after the fight that his emotions got the best of him on that title fight, but he would commit to another title run. His next fight was against Wonderboy, who he beat by dominating in the grappling as you should when facing such a fast and elite striker. After that, Durinho took on another undefeated phenom, Khamzat Chimaev, who went on to become champion up a weight class years later. Chimaev had all the confidence in the world as he had a 100% finish rate up to this point. He even waited for Gilbert to walk out while sitting on top of the cage, showing no respect. I remember that moment felt crazy. They had a back and forth war, earning fight of the night, and Durinho's stock rose even after defeat. He had made Khamzat look beatable and human. Burns then submitted veteran Neil Magny and decision Jorge Masvidal and was in considerations for another title shot after these straight 2 wins. Unfortunately, his next fight wasn't for the title, and he ended up losing a decision where he couldn't use one of his arms after suffering a shoulder injury amidst fight against future champ Belal Muhammad. His fortunes would only get worse, being KO'd with a knee on his next fight in a fight that he was clearly winning. His opponent was another future champ, but then he lost 3 straight more fights against other highly talented prospects. He laid the gloves down in Canada, had an emotional moment with his family and fans, and now has plans on becoming a manager to stand up for other fighters. At almost 40 years old, he had an awesome career and will forever have all the fans' respect, especially mine. If you like the video, please like and subscribe. Let me know what other MMA topics you would like me to cover. This video I had to research a lot, and some of the stuff I got from the top of my head, so please forgive me if I got anything wrong. Also put it down in the comments if I got anything wrong. Peace out.